What if I told you that one of the strongest predictors of longevity isn't your blood pressure, your cholesterol, or even your weight? It's the strength of your legs. Research from the British Medical Journal and longitudinal aging studies consistently shows that leg strength is one of the most reliable indicators of how well you'll live and how long. Why? Because strong legs aren't just about mobility, they're deeply connected to your brain health, balance, metabolism, and even your emotional resilience. For people over 60, maintaining muscle mass, especially in the lower body, isn't just about staying active. It's a key signal of neurological integrity. When your legs grow weaker, your risk of fall skyrockets, your independence declines, and even your cognitive function can begin to falter. In fact, studies from the Journal of Gerontology show that reduced quadriceps strength is linked to poorer memory, slower processing speed, and higher risk of cognitive impairment. But here's the surprising part. Building stronger legs at 60, 70, or even 80 is absolutely possible, and it starts not just in the gym, but in your blood. Today, we're going to explore 3 specific vitamins that have been scientifically shown to support leg strength, muscle recovery, and neuromuscular coordination in older adults. These aren't magic pills, and when taken incorrectly, some of them can actually backfire. But when used properly, they become powerful tools for physical autonomy and healthy aging. We'll talk about how these vitamins influence your muscle fibers at the cellular level. We'll look at how your nervous system, especially motor neuron function, responds to certain nutrient inputs. And most importantly, I'll give you actionable, science-based protocols that you can start using immediately to support stronger, more stable legs. So whether you want to walk without fear, climb stairs with confidence, or simply keep up with your grandkids, this video will give you the tools to get there with clarity, confidence, and proven science. Let's dive in. Let's start with a vitamin that's often misunderstood, yet absolutely foundational to leg strength. Vitamin D3. You might associate vitamin D with bones, and that's true. It helps regulate calcium absorption, which is critical for skeletal health. But here's the deeper science that most people don't realize. Vitamin D is also a hormone that directly affects your muscle tissue and your nervous system. In older adults, especially those over 60, vitamin D3 plays a central role in what's called neuromuscular signaling, the process by which your brain sends signals through motor neurons to your muscles, telling them when and how to contract. Think of it like a switchboard. If vitamin D levels are low, the signals get weak or delayed. That translates into slower reflexes, poorer balance, and yes, weaker leg. Now, what does the research show? In a landmark study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, older adults with low vitamin D had significantly lower muscle strength and were twice as likely to experience falls. Another randomized controlled trial from Archives of Internal Medicine found that supplementing with 800 to 1,000 IU of vitamin D daily reduced fall risk by up to 19% in seniors, specifically by improving lower body coordination and strength. Here's the mechanism. Vitamin D receptors are found directly in your fast twitch muscle fibers, the very fibers you use when getting up from a chair, stepping off a curb, or catching your balance after a stumble. These receptors help regulate calcium inside muscle cells, enabling powerful and quick contractions. Without adequate vitamin D, those fibers shrink and weaken. And here's something practical. Vitamin D3 is more bioavailable than D2, especially when taken with a fattening meal, since it's a fat-soluble vitamin. So if you're supplementing, consider taking it in the morning with breakfast, ideally alongside a small amount of dietary fat like eggs, avocado, or olive oil. Now, how do you know if you're low? Many seniors are, even in sunny climates. That's because as we age, our skin becomes less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D from sunlight. Add sunscreen or limited time outdoors, and deficiency becomes almost inevitable. A simple tool to apply is this. Ask your doctor for a 25-hydroxy vitamin D blood test. Aim for levels between 40 to 60 ml/ml. If you're significantly below that, a supervised supplement protocol is essential. For many over 60, this means 1,000 to 2,000 IU/day, but dosage should always be personalized and monitored. Let me ask you, have you noticed your legs feeling less steady when standing up quickly or walking on uneven ground? That may not just be getting older, it could be neuromuscular dysfunction driven by a vitamin D deficiency. And the good news is it's correctable. Starting with D3 sets the foundation. But to take your leg strength further, we need to look at the vitamin responsible for wiring your nerves to your muscles. That's up next. But before we dive in, if this kind of science-backed insight is helping you rethink your health, consider subscribing. It tells the algorithm and us that this content matters and we're just getting started. If vitamin D3 is the switch that powers muscle activation, then vitamin B12 is the wiring that carries the current. It plays a direct role in how your nervous system communicates with your muscles, especially the large muscles in your legs. Here's what the research shows. Vitamin B12 is essential for maintaining the myelin sheath, the protective coating around your nerves. You can think of myelin like the insulation on electrical wiring. Without it, signals from your brain to your legs slow down, get distorted, or short circuit entirely. That's not just theoretical. In people over 60, low B12 levels are strongly associated with muscle weakness, instability, numbness, and even fall. A 2021 review in Frontiers in Neurology found that subclinical B12 deficiency, meaning you're not dangerously low but not optimal either, can cause balance problems and leg weakness even without classic signs of anemia. And a Japanese study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society showed that older adults with low B12 had significantly slower walking speeds and impaired motor control. So why is this especially relevant after age 60? As we age, our ability to absorb B12 declines. That's because the stomach acid and intrinsic factor needed to extract B12 from food becomes less efficient. You could be eating plenty of B12-rich foods like meat, fish, or eggs, and still not be absorbing enough. Medications like proton pump inhibitors for heartburn and metformin for type 2 diabetes can further reduce absorption. A simple tool to apply is this. Consider a sublingual B12 supplement. These dissolve under your tongue and bypass the digestive tract, making them ideal for older adults. Look for the methylcobalamin form. It's bioactive and more easily used by your brain and nerves. The optimal dose, while general guidelines suggest 2.4 milligrams per decilitre day, many older adults benefit from doses between 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day when supplementing, especially if deficiency is present. But always consult your healthcare provider before starting high doses. How do you know if you're low? Fatigue, tingling in the feet, numbness, or feeling off balance are common early signs. But even in the absence of symptoms, blood levels below 400 pg/ml may impair nerve function. That's why routine testing is key, especially for those over 60. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your legs don't respond as quickly as they used to? Like there's a slight delay between thought and movement? It's not just aging. It may be a nutrient signal, one that your nervous system is sending out loud and clear. Now, here's where this gets powerful. When B12 is optimized alongside D3, you're not just building muscle, you're restoring communication between your brain and your body. And that's when real progress begins. If this insight is helping you rethink how vitamins impact your strength, consider subscribing and sharing this with someone who could benefit. These small changes create long-term freedom, and we're just getting into the most overlooked key of all, recovery. Now we'll explore magnesium, the mineral that helps your muscles fire, recover, and grow stronger, especially after 60. By now, we've seen how vitamin D3 turns on neuromuscular coordination and how B12 ensures clear, fast communication between your brain and your muscles. But what happens after your muscles contract? When they need to relax, reset, and rebuild? That's where magnesium steps in. Think of it as the recovery manager, working behind the scenes to regulate muscle contraction, reduce cramping, and replenish the energy systems inside each muscle cell. Here's what the research shows. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, and one of its most vital roles is managing ATP, the energy currency your muscles run on. Without sufficient magnesium, your body can't effectively convert food into usable muscular energy, and your recovery after physical activity, even something as simple as walking upstairs, slows dramatically. In a 2020 study published in Nutrients, researchers found that older adults with higher magnesium levels had better muscle performance, grip strength, and walking speed. Another study from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society showed that magnesium supplementation improved muscle function and reduced fall risk in seniors with low levels, particularly those who are also engaging in mild resistance or mobility training. But it's not just about energy. Magnesium also plays a key role in relaxing muscle fibers after contraction. If you've experienced muscle cramps at night, leg twitching, or stiffness after exercise, low magnesium could be the culprit. Or here's something practical. Magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate are the most bioavailable forms for muscle health. Magnesium oxide, which is common in cheap supplements, is poorly absorbed and often causes digestive issues. A simple tool to apply is this. Take magnesium in the evening, ideally 1 to 2 hours before bed. This timing helps support not only muscle repair overnight, but also improves sleep quality, which is itself critical for recovery and strength. Dosage varies, but many experts recommend 250 to 400 milligrams daily for older adults. Again, start low and increase gradually. And consult your doctor if you're on medications for blood pressure or kidney conditions, since magnesium interacts with some prescriptions. Let me ask you something. Do you feel soreness that lingers longer than it used to? Are your legs slower to bounce back after a walk, climb, or standing for extended periods? That's not just aging, it's delayed recovery. And magnesium is the lever you can pull to speed that process up. Even more powerful, magnesium also helps regulate blood sugar and reduce systemic inflammation, both of which contribute to muscle breakdown if left unchecked. When paired with D3 and B12, magnesium completes a trifecta, activating, wiring, and recovering your muscles for sustained performance. Let's go beyond the nutrients themselves and look at how timing and pairing of these vitamins can make or break your results. Because even the right supplement taken at the wrong time or in the wrong combination can be wasted. You could be taking the right supplements, vitamin D3, B12, magnesium, and still not see much of a difference in your leg strength. Why? Because when and how you take these nutrients determines how well your body absorbs, processes, and actually uses them. In other words, timing is not just a detail, it's a performance tool. Let's break this down by nutrient and by biological mechanism. First, vitamin D3. As a fat-soluble vitamin, D3 needs dietary fat to be absorbed efficiently. That's why clinical studies, like one published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, show that vitamin D absorption increases up to 32% when taken with a fat-burning meal. So the best time to take D3, morning or midday, with a meal that includes healthy fats, like eggs, nuts, or olive oil. Not on an empty stomach, not at night. Why not at night? Because vitamin D influences your body's circadian rhythm, your internal clock. Taken too late, it can disrupt melatonin production and subtly interfere with sleep quality, especially in sensitive individuals. Second, vitamin B12. B12 is water soluble and it supports cellular energy, alertness, and neuromuscular coordination. It's best taken in the morning as part of your wake-up routine. Many users report better mental clarity and balance when B12 is taken shortly after waking. And here's a tip. Take B12 separately from magnesium, ideally by at least 4 to 6 hours. That's because magnesium promotes relaxation while B12 supports activation. Think of it like the difference between your body's accelerator and brake pedal. Useful, but best not pressed at the same time. Third, magnesium. As we mentioned earlier, magnesium is best taken in the evening, 1 to 2 hours before bed. And not only does this support muscle recovery, but research from sleep medicine reviews shows magnesium also promotes deeper, more restorative sleep by calming the nervous system and enhancing GABA activity in the brain. So here's a simple protocol you can apply. Morning, take vitamin D3 plus B12 with your first solid meal, ideally one that includes some fat. Evening, take magnesium with or after dinner or as part of your wind down routine before bed. Let me ask you, are you currently taking supplements all at once, maybe in the morning with a glass of water? It might seem efficient, but science shows this habit can reduce absorption and even cancel out the benefits of specific nutrients due to poor synergy or timing mismatches. So here's your upgraded approach. Think of your supplements like a nutritional rhythm, working with your biology, not against it. Let's go deeper into the cellular level and look at how these vitamins power the mitochondria inside your muscle cells and why that's the key to leg strength that actually lasts. Let's zoom in, way in, to a part of your cells that most people have heard of, but rarely understand in practical terms, the mitochondria. Mitochondria are often called the powerhouses of the cell. That's true, but more specifically, they're the energy engines inside your muscle fibers, converting nutrients like glucose and fat into ATP, the fuel your muscles need to contract, stabilize, and recover. Now, here's the key insight. After age 60, mitochondrial efficiency declines significantly. You produce less ATP and your muscles fatigue more quickly. That's part of why even basic activities like walking uphill, getting up from a chair, or climbing stairs start to feel harder. It's not just the muscles themselves. It's the energy system powering them that's faltering. But here's the good news. Certain nutrients, especially D3, B12, and magnesium, directly support mitochondrial health. Let's break this down. Vitamin D3, vitamin D receptors aren't just in bones and muscles. They're also located on mitochondria themselves. Studies like those published in Molecular Nutrition and Food Research show that D3 can help regulate mitochondrial function, reduce oxidative stress, and enhance the production of ATP. That means better muscle output, especially in fast twitch fibers, critical for leg strength and reflexive balance. Vitamin B12. B12 is essential for mitochondrial energy metabolism, particularly in converting carbohydrates into ATP. Without enough B12, your mitochondria slow down, you feel fatigued, your muscles tire faster, and recovery takes longer. In fact, early mitochondrial dysfunction is one reason B12 deficiency can mimic chronic fatigue or peripheral neuropathy. It's not just a vitamin issue, it's an energy crisis. Magnesium is required for every single step of ATP synthesis. That's right. ATP isn't biologically active unless it's bound to magnesium. If you're low in magnesium, your mitochondria might still produce ATP, but it won't be usable by your muscle cells. That's like generating electricity without a working outlet. Here's a simple analogy. Think of your mitochondria like a team of mechanics building engines inside your muscles. Vitamin D is the supervisor ensuring proper blueprint access. B12 is the skilled technician wiring the fuel system. Magnesium, that's the oil that keeps the whole engine running smoothly. So what's a simple tool to support your mitochondria? Besides the right supplementation and timing we've covered, light physical activity, even walking, stimulates mitochondrial biogenesis. That's the creation of more mitochondria inside your muscle cells. In fact, combining a brisk 10-minute walk with your morning supplements can literally turn on mitochondrial gene expression. That's not theory. It's documented in studies like those from the Journal of Physiology and Cell Metabolism. Let me ask you this. Do your legs start strong but fatigue faster than they used to? That's not just muscle atrophy. That's mitochondrial underperformance. And it's highly modifiable. This is why people over 60 can dramatically improve strength, balance, and endurance, not by pushing harder, but by fueling smarter at the cellular level. Now, we'll put everything together into a real-world, repeatable routine, a daily protocol for stronger legs, better stability, and long-term muscle vitality, all in just a few minutes a day. We've covered the nutrients, we've explored the timing, we've gone all the way to the mitochondria. Now it's time to take that science and build it into a real-world, repeatable protocol, one that supports leg strength, balance, and muscular recovery after 60. This isn't about adding more effort. It's about creating a rhythm that fits your life, aligns with your biology, and builds strength naturally over time. Let's walk through a daily structure grounded in everything we've covered so far. Morning, activate and energize one. Wake, hydrate, move lightly. Start your day with a glass of water and a few minutes of gentle movement. This can be a short walk, light stretching, or mobility work. Why? Because movement turns on mitochondrial genes and primes your muscles for nutrient uptake. Even 5 to 10 minutes makes a difference. 2, take vitamin D3 plus B12 with breakfast. Ideally, a meal that includes some healthy fat, avocado, eggs, nuts, or olive oil. Remember, D3 is fat soluble and supports neuromuscular function. B12 enhances brain-muscle communication and energy production. Use sublingual B12 if absorption is a concern, especially if you're on acid-reducing meds. 3, optional, light resistance or stability training, just 5 to 10 minutes of bodyweight squats, balance holds, or resistance band work can amplify the effects of your mitochondrial support and signal your body to build muscle. Afternoon, maintain and support 4, stay gently active. Try not to sit for more than 45 to 60 minutes at a time. Use a timer or cue, like phone calls or hydration breaks, to get up and walk. This keeps blood flowing to your legs, supports nutrient delivery, and lowers inflammation markers. 5, optional midday protein. If leg strength is your goal, you'll benefit from 20 to 30 g of protein at lunch. Older adults need more protein per meal to stimulate muscle repair due to something called anabolic resistance, a concept validated in journals like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Evening, recover and rebuild 6. Take magnesium 1 to 2 hours before bed. Use magnesium glycinate or citrate, supports muscle relaxation, nervous system downregulation, and deep sleep, all essential for overnight recovery and mitochondrial repair. 7, wind down, deliberately limit screen time before bed. Light from devices suppresses melatonin and interferes with recovery. Instead, consider 5 minutes of box breathing or reading something calming. Even that primes the parasympathetic nervous system, which supports muscle repair during sleep. Let me ask you this. What if in just 10 to 15 minutes a day, without a gym, without extreme routines, you could increase your leg strength, reduce fall risk, and feel more confident in your body? That's what this protocol is designed to do. You're not just taking supplements. You're building a neuromuscular rhythm, one where your brain, muscles, and mitochondria are in sync. And over time, that adds up to something incredibly powerful: freedom. Freedom to move how you want. Freedom from fear of falling. Freedom to stay strong, active, and independent well into your later years. Now, I'll recap the science and leave you with one small, powerful challenge to begin today. Let's take a moment to step back. You've just learned how 3 specific vitamins, D3, B12, and magnesium, can dramatically improve leg strength in adults over 60, but not in the vague general way we often hear in supplement ads. We explored how they work at the cellular level. Vitamin D3 doesn't just help bones, it activates neuromuscular signaling, helping your brain recruit muscles more effectively. Vitamin B12 fuels the nervous system's ability to send fast, clean electrical signals, keeping your movements stable and responsive. Magnesium supports recovery and energy production, allowing your muscles to relax, rebuild, and resist cramping or fatigue. We looked at the timing, the form, and the science of absorption. Practical tools that go beyond take your vitamins and into the territory of real biological change. We explored the mitochondria, those tiny power plants in your muscle cells, and how these nutrients aren't just helping you feel better, but are literally rewiring how your body produces energy and preserves muscle tissue as you age. And we turned all of it into a daily protocol, one that fits into your life in under 15 minutes a day. No gym required, no expensive routines, just consistency, clarity, and science. Now, what's the why behind all of this? It's not just about having stronger legs. It's about confidence, knowing you can get up from the floor without worrying. It's about independence, being able to carry groceries, climb stairs, or travel